Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will cover acute appendicitis. Acute appendicitis is actually the acute inflammation of the appendix, and it is the most common acute abdominal emergency. Acute appendicitis is more common in children and young adults, and it is less common in the extremes of ages. Acute appendicitis occurs more commonly in Western population as compared to others. Now, what is the appendix? Appendix is actually a small organ, or it is also known as vermiform appendix because it is worm-shaped organ and it is present between the cecum and the ileocecal junction. So here we can see the vermiform appendix or worm-shaped appendix. There are different theories which have been proposed regarding the function of the appendix. Some say that it is a safe house of bacteria, some say that it is a part of the immune system, or some say that it is a vestigial organ and it does not perform any function. So here we can see appendix. It is a vestigial organ and it is present in between the ileocecal junction and the cecum. So this is the appendix. Now, what is the appendicitis? The acute inflammation of the appendix is known as acute appendicitis. There are different causes which can cause acute appendicitis. There may be obstructive causes or there may be non-obstructive causes. Among the obstructive causes, we have the fecolith. Fecolith means that hardened feces sometimes obstruct the appendix. Then there may be calculi or some stone. Then there may be some foreign body, for example undigested seeds of the fruits, or sometimes there may be a tumor, or there are certain worms, especially Enterobius vermicularis, that can cause obstruction of the appendix, or there may be lymphoid hyperplasia, especially in children. So these are all the obstructive causes of acute appendicitis. What are the non-obstructive causes? Non-obstructive causes include hematogenous spread of generalized infection. For example, there is infection in some other part of the body and through blood it is spread to this appendix. Then we have the vascular occlusion, and sometimes if our diet is lacking some roughage, then it may also cause acute appendicitis. So these are the causes of acute appendicitis. Now, what is the morphology? Morphology is slightly different in case of early acute appendicitis and the advanced acute appendicitis. In early acute appendicitis, we have scant neutrophilic exudate. Then we have the subserosal congestion. We have perivascular neutrophilic emigration, and the serosa is dull, granular, and red. In advanced stages, there is increase in the number of neutrophilic infiltrate. In early acute appendicitis, we have subserosal congestion, while in the advanced acute appendicitis, we have fibropurulent serosal exudate. Then we have luminal abscess formation, ulcerations, and suppurative necrosis. Here we can see the histological presentation of acute appendicitis. This is the wall of the appendix, and in the wall of the appendix we can see the neutrophilic infiltrate, which is showing the inflammation. This is actually the muscularis propria of the appendix, and these are the neutrophils. Here again, the wall of the appendix, we can see increased number of neutrophilic exudate. There is increased neutrophilic infiltration. Again, this is the muscularis propria and there is increased neutrophilic infiltration. Actually, whenever there is obstruction of the lumen of the appendix, then we know that normally the lining of the GIT contains mucosa, and this mucosa is responsible for the formation of mucin. Whenever there is obstruction of the lumen of the appendix, then this mucin continues to accumulate in the lumen of the appendix, and there is also increased multiplication of some bacteria, and so that the inflammation occurs. Whenever there is inflammation, we know that there is neutrophilic infiltration, so also neutrophils come here and this area become inflamed and enlarged, and sometimes it happens there is that due to this excessive inflammation there is a decrease in the blood supply, because these blood vessels also become compressed. There is decrease in the blood supply. Due to decrease in the blood supply and there is due to increased inflammation, the walls of the appendix becomes very weak, and sometimes it happens that there may be rupture of the walls of the appendix. When there is rupture of the wall of the appendix, then this mucopurulent exudate comes out, and here we can see there is serosal exudate. This is actually a mucopurulent exudate. Here we can see the subserosal congestion. Whenever there is excessive inflammation, then it causes congestion of the blood vessels, and whenever there is congestion of the blood vessels, there is subserosal congestion. Here we can see the lining of the appendix has become dark red. This is subserosal congestion. Serosa becomes dull, it becomes red, and it becomes granular. This is again the gross appearance, and here we can see the fibropurulent exudate on the surface of the appendix. This is the fibropurulent exudate. Now, what are the clinical features of the acute appendicitis? The clinical features of acute appendicitis include the colicky pain. First of all, this pain is around the periumbilical area. Then, after some days, it becomes localized in the right iliac fossa. Next, we have the nausea and vomiting. Then we have the mild pyrexia or low-grade fever. There is abdominal tenderness, increased pulse rate, and neutrophilic leukocytosis. This is a diagram which is showing all the signs and symptoms of acute appendicitis. Okay, first of all, what is the pathology of acute appendicitis? We have discussed it earlier. We have discussed it already, but here let's just recap. First of all, there is some obstruction, for example by fecalith of the appendix lumen, as a result of which there is increased proliferation of the gut flora. There is increased accumulation of the mucin material here, so it causes increased pressure and it may result in rupture of the appendix. Now, what are the signs and symptoms? It can cause nausea, there is mild fever, vomiting, anorexia. There is pain at the McBurney's point, or there is tenderness at the McBurney's point. McBurney's point is a point which is present in between the umbilicus and the right anterior superior iliac spine. It is present at a 1/3 distance from the right anterior superior iliac spine and 2/3 of the distance from the umbilicus. So when we press at the McBurney's point, then there is tenderness at the McBurney's point. Next, we have the obturator sign. In obturator, how we can perform the obturator sign? First of all, we'll make the patient to lie straight in the supine position. Then we will do flexion at the hip joint and at the knee joint, and then we ask the patient to rotate the hip joint or rotate the thigh internal. When we perform the internal rotation at the right hip joint, then it will cause pain because of inflammation of the obturator internis muscle. Then we have the Swas sign. In order to perform the Swas sign, we will make the patient to lie in the left lateral position. Then we will do extension at the right hip joint, and it will cause pain. Then we have the Rovsing's sign. How we can perform the Rovsing's sign? In Rovsing's sign, we will do palpation in the left lower quadrant or in the left iliac fossa. It will cause a movement of the intestinal contents towards the right side and cause pain on the right iliac fossa. So upon pressing the left iliac fossa, there is pain in the right iliac fossa. This is known as Rovsing's sign. Then there is also a rebound tenderness. Rebound tenderness means when we press the area, when we press the right iliac fossa and we lift the arm of the patient, then there is pain in the abdomen. This is known as rebound tenderness. Actually, this is due to the peritonitis or inflammation of the peritoneum. Now, we use a score for confirming the appendicitis. This is known as the Alvarado score. We can remember the Alvarado score by a mnemonic which is known as Mantrel. Here we can Mantrel: M for migratory pain, A for anorexia, N for nausea, men, T for tenderness, R for rebound tenderness, E for elevated temperature, L for leukocytosis, and S for shift to left. So this is Mantrels. Okay, in Mantrels we have 3 symptoms, then we have 2 signs, and then we have 3 symptoms, we have 3 signs, and we have 2 laboratory investigations. First of all, we will see if there is any migratory pain to the right iliac fossa. as we have discussed earlier, that first of all there is pain around the periumbilical area, then the pain migrates towards the right iliac fossa. If this symptom is present, then we will give the score 1. If there is anorexia, then we will give the score 1. If there is nausea and vomiting, then again we will give the score 1. Then we have right iliac fossa tenderness. We will press the right iliac fossa gently, and if there is pain, then we will give 2 scores. Then there is rebound tenderness. Rebound tenderness, how we will perform this? We will press the right iliac fossa and lift the arm of the patient. Then there will be pain at the abdomen. If this sign is positive, then we will give the score 1. Then there is elevated temperature. If there is pyrexia, then we will give the score 1. Then there is leukocytosis. Normally the number of leukocytes ranges from 4000 to 11,000 per cubic millimeter of the blood, and if it is greater than 11,000 per cubic millimeter, then we will go with 2 score. Then there is shift to left. Shift to left means that there is shift to the WBC count towards the left. That is, there is increase in the number of neutrophils. There is greater than 75% increase in the number of neutrophils. We will give the score 1. So the total score is 10. If the score is less than 4, then there is no acute appendicitis. We will exclude the diagnosis. If the score is between 5 to 6, then there may be or may not be acute appendicitis. And if it is greater than 7, then it means that it is appendicitis. Now, what are the complications of acute appendicitis? First of all, there is peritonitis or inflammation of the peritoneum. Then there is appendix abscess. Appendix abscess means that there is collection of pus in the inflamed appendix, or sometimes is rupture of the appendix and collection of pus around the ruptured appendix. Then there are adhesions. Adhesions means that band of scar-like tissues are formed inside the abdomen, and these bands are formed in between two or more organs, or between the organs and the abdominal wall. Here we can see adhesions. These are the adhesions. These are scar-like tissues which are formed in between the organs. These are adhesions, and it is a complication of acute appendicitis. Then we have portal pylophlebitis. Portal pylophlebitis means there is thrombophlebitis of the portal vein caused by infection. Then there is mucocele. Mucocele means that there is accumulation of the mucin material inside the lumen of the appendix, and there is dilation of the lumen of the appendix. This is known as mucocele. Then we have empyema. Empyema means lung abscess due to infection. So these all are the complications which occur due to acute appendicitis. Now, what are the differential diagnoses of acute appendicitis? These differential diagnoses are slightly different in children, adults, old age, and females. So, what are the differential diagnoses in case of children? In children, there may be gastroenteritis or inflammation of the GIT. Then there may be mesenteric adenitis. Mesenteric adenitis means that there is inflammation and swelling of the lymph nodes inside the abdomen because of some infection. Then there may be Meckel's diverticulitis. Meckel's diverticulitis is actually the inflammation of Meckel's diverticulum, which is a congenital bulge or outpouching in the lower part of the small intestine, and it is actually the leftover part of the umbilical cord. Then there may be interception. Interception means that one part of the intestine has entered into some other part of the intestine. One segment of the intestine telescopes into another part of the intestine. This is known as interception. Then there may be Hino-Schaulin's purpura. It is an autoimmune disorder in which is also known as IgA vasculitis. Then there is lobar pneumonia, in which inflammatory exudate is present in the intra-alveolar spaces. So these are all the differential diagnoses of acute appendicitis in case of children. Then what are the differential diagnoses in adults? In adults, there may be regional enteritis, meaning there is inflammation of some part of the GIT. Then there is ureteric colic. Ureteric colic means that there is pain of the ureter due to some stone or some other impacted mass. Then there may be perforated peptic ulcer. Perforated peptic ulcer means that there was ulcer in the stomach or some part of intestine, and it has perforated. Then there may be torsion of testis. Torsion of testis occurs when there is twisting of the spermatic cord, and when there is twisting of the spermatic cord, then there is decreased or no blood supply to the testes, and it causes severe pain and swelling of the testis. Then there may be pancreatitis or rectus sheath hematoma. Rectus sheath hematoma means that there is accumulation of blood in sheath of the rectus abdominis muscle, and it causes abdominal pain, and it may occur because of some rupture of epigastric artery. Then we have differential diagnosis in case of adult females. In adult females, there may be Mitchell-Schmerz pain. This is the pain which occurs during ovulation, when there is slight bleeding during ovulation, and it mostly occurs on 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Then there may be some pelvic inflammatory disease. There may be pyelonephritis, which means inflammation of the kidney due to some bacterial infection, and it causes flank pain and nausea, fever. Then there may be ectopic pregnancy, meaning pregnancy outside the normal cavity of the uterus. Then there may be a rupture of the ovarian cyst, or there may be endometriosis. Endometriosis is a painful disorder in which the endometrial tissue grow outside the uterus. It may occur in the ovary, in the fallopian tube, or some other tissue lining the pelvis. So these are all the differential diagnosis in an adult female. Then what are the differential diagnoses of acute appendicitis in case of elderly people? There may be diverticulitis. Diverticulitis means then there is inflamed pouches. There is formation of inflamed pouches in the lining of the intestine, which are known as diverticula. Here we can see this is actually diverticulitis, in which in the lining of the intestines inflamed pouches are formed. This is known as diverticulitis. Then there may be intestinal obstruction, there may be carcinoma of the colon, there may be mesenteric infarction. Mesenteric infarction means that there is decrease in blood supply to some part of GIT or to some part of small intestine, which causes pain. Then there is torsion of appendix epiploiky. Appendix epiploiky are actually small fat-filled pouches of the visceral peritoneum that hang from the tinea coli. Here we can see these are the appendix epiploiky. These are the fat-filled pouches of the visceral peritoneum that hang from the tinea coli. Sometimes there is inflammation of these appendix epiploiky or torsion of these appendix epiploiky, which cause severe pain. So it may also result in elderly people. Here it is shown there is shown interception, which is one of the differential diagnoses in case of young children, and in which one part of the intestine telescopes into some other part of the intestine. Then in children, we have discussed previously one of the differential diagnoses, one of the differential diagnoses was in children of appendicitis was a lobar pneumonia, in which there is fluid is filled in case of alveolar spaces. Then in young males, we have discussed one of the differential diagnoses was torsion of testes, in which there is decrease in the blood supply to the testes because of torsion of the spermatic cord, due to which there is inflammation, there is severe pain. So this is all about the acute appendicitis. In our next video, we will discuss mucocele. Thank you.